Hey guys, welcome to devops school. In this video tutorial, we are going to learn about Python. Python is a general purpose, interpreted, interactive, object-oriented and high-level programming and scripting language. After going through this tutorial, I promise you that the concept and understanding of the Python will be absolutely clear to you. This series is divided into multiple parts. Therefore, subscribe to the channel and follow the playlist. But before that, let me ask you a few things. Are you dreaming of a career with higher pay and more responsibilities? Or are you ready to take your skills to the next level this year? Then start investing in DevOps School certification level courses which will help you to emerge skills for a wide range of entry-level roles and as well as higher potential future positions. But with thousands of courses online and in classroom worldwide, finding the right one for your career goals can be difficult. You can consider our courses like Agile Developer, Agile QA, DevOps Certified Professionals, Site Reliability Engineering, DevSecOps, and Masters in DevOps Engineering, where you will have access to well-structured, easy-to-follow course content that has been developed and will be delivered by industry professionals. You can join on our training programs globally through online platforms, and if you are looking for classroom workshops, then we have regular sessions available in Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, Delhi NCR, Mumbai and in Pune. Simply compare our many courses, find the one that suits your style and schedule best and start today.
Genre you have selected. Now we have not set the author yet. Here we have a date picker because they have for date fields it is automatically giving us date picker that and we can save it. But right now I'm not going to save this because we want to bring in the author. Once we make an entry, then bringing author will be difficult for us. So I'm not going to do any changes here. Let's first set up the author thing. So what I'm going to do here is in the models.py, I'm going to create another class called as author. So if the author entry is there in my database, then only you can add a book of that author. But if any new author's book we are trying to insert, we first need to register the author in our database. That's the criteria. Models.model. And here we are going to use the same char field. Name of the author is equal to this. Okay. Save. Now first we have to register this author. Register, I mean create a migration for that. Sorry, register was the wrong word. We need to first make the migrations. So create the author table also. Migrate. Migrate. Author table is created. Make the entry of author in admin. That is done. And now if we will have to run our server. We get authors. Click on this. Let's add one or two authors here using this. Do I J.K. Rowling? We can add one more. Okay. So now here we can see author object 1, 2, 3. We are not able to see their names because here the admin interface is just printing the object. It's not printing the name or anything. It is confused. Which field should I enter? Because my author, even though it has only one field, it may, like if I'm trying to print the books, which field he should print, right? So we have to specify that what we want to see there using a inbuilt function called as string str. So using this we can define that whenever you are printing the object, print the name. So it will be like this. Self.name. So this is just a trick. Let's not go in much detail because for that I will have to again start with the object-oriented programming. So here I'm just bringing the string function. Now whatever is returned over here, name and here title, so that will be reflected. So I just refresh here. Yes, so we can see the names now. Okay. Now we have to connect our author with our books table. So here let's uncomment it, and instead of creating a char field, I'm going to create a foreign key. So connection between this table and that table. Foreign key, and with which table? Author table. And I'm going to say on delete models dot cascade. Okay. This is how I'm setting up the foreign key. Once foreign key, again we will have to do the migrations because we have made a change in the book table. Make migrations. Now it is asking author book table is already created. So what if there were any entries, right? Now this field is a required field. Required field means not null field. We have not mentioned anything that blank is true, or we haven't given any such specifications over here, which means that this is a not null field. And since it is a not null field and the table is already created, we need to specify what should be the default value for that. Okay, we know that we haven't created any book object yet, but Django doesn't know that. So it is asking us for a default value. So I'll just enter a default value as 1 because we know we haven't made any entry, so it is not going to affect our data. So we have just said that if there is any data in our book table, assign 1 as the value for the author table, author column. Now migrations are made. Let's migrate. And now let's run the server. Now we'll go to the admin. Let's try to insert a book now. So add book. We get a form. And here I'm going to add the ISBN, name of the book. And now here, instead of entering the name manually, I am getting the list of authors available. So if author is not present, I cannot enter the value. So that's how I am making my model dependent on each other, so that it is good for error handling also, because first initially I gave the name as J.K. Rowling. Now I am giving J.K. Rowling. So user can enter any values. So as a developer, you have to be very sure to expose minimum values to the user, because let's say you are creating the similar interface for me as a librarian, because I am going to insert new books into my library database. So similar kind of interface you're going to give me. Now what if I enter the name of wrong spelling of the author? So when you are trying to search, okay, give me all the books of J.K. Rowling, what will happen? Somewhere you have written J.K. Rowling, somewhere J.K. Rowling. So when you're running the search query using where clause, it's not going to give me the right answer. Correct? So as a web application developer, when you are creating a UI, you have to expose minimum fields to the user, so that the validation is in control and the user will not enter any misspelled or wrong values. Right now, this field also does not have any drop down. If you create a separate class for it and assign some values there, you can create a drop down for this. Now when we are going to generate this form for the user, so this form right now it is for admin, not for the user. We are going to create an interface for the librarian as the user, and that time we will mention this as a drop down, because we are going to give a specific list of genres, not all, like the librarian can enter any name over here, so we don't want that thing to happen. Plus date fields also, we are going to take care that there is going to be a date picker for that, so that the date format is not wrong. Only 2 fields remain exposed to the user where he can enter the values of his choice. Okay, so that's what is the whole goal. Let's assign the author. I'll just take a value and change it. Stakes 18. Okay, save and add another. We get one more form. So right now just try to view. Here we get the details. Okay, because we have written the string, so we are able to see the name of the book. Okay, now this is the admin interface. We are not going to go create the objects. We are the developer, so we have to now go and create the views for the user and for the librarian. Okay, so for that, now we will move to the next step of connecting our database to the view. So where is our views.py? Here is our views.py, and using this views.py, we are going to run a select query. So whatever books are there, using that select query, we are going to display it on our web page. Okay, so for that, we are going to write a class. Class is going to be view books is my class. Here I am going to write list view. I'm going to take help of list view class, which is already there in Django. So the select query is executed by this list view. We don't have to worry. So list view. Yes, here it is. Okay. So now we are going to tell which object we want to view. So model is equal to book. Okay. And what is our template where we want to see? So template name is nothing but the name of list books. This is my HTML template. I'm going to enclose it in quotes. Okay, and what is going to be the name of our object which is going to take it from the view to the HTML page? So that's going to be the context object name. So it's going to go as a context object, and here we are going to give the name as books. So what this particular 3 lines they are going to do, they are going to go to the database, query the database, that select star from books, get all the book data in our object called as books, and now we are going to print it. So it's going to be a list, a simple list, and we are going to print the elements of this list on our HTML page. So one thing you can do is, if you are using Django for API development, your work is done. So just return this in the form of a JSON object or whatever. No need to create HTML. But if you are building an end-to-end application like Django backend, Django frontend, then you will have to work on the HTML part also. So let's bring the HTML. Here we will write. The syntax goes like this. Inside the percent. So normal HTML tags, and we have to put the Django tags in between. So for each book in books, so this is the same for loop which we had learned in Python 2 hours ago. Same. Only slide that curly brackets and colon has got added because of Django template. And now we are going to print the book. So let's print the book name, book.name. So this concept comes from our Python classes, object-oriented programming. Book.name. And now we want to print the name of the author. So book.author will give the author object, because we have connected it through the foreign key. Now from the author object, what we want to see? We want to see the name of the author. So we will write like this, author.name. So from book object, call the author object to the name object, name variable inside the object. And now here we will write brackets and for our code is ready. Now small change in the urls.py. The change is going to be, till now whenever that this URL pattern is called, it directly goes to the HTML page. Now we don't want it to go to HTML page. We want to go it through the views and then HTML page. That's what we want the direction to be. So we'll just remove this and right here views. So views is nothing but the name of our files, where our class is mentioned. Dot list. View books is the name of our class, and going to call it as view. This is the syntax to call the class. That's a part of syntax. Let's save this, And now let us try to view the book which we have inserted into our database. So now go here on this, and I hope it works all. Yes, there is an error expected. End accepted empty for end for. So there is error with the template logic. I think it should space fresh. Okay. It's not printing the books. Let's try to figure it out. Uh,
You want to start server again to load the files?
we can try. I think there is some error on the server. Let's see. Let's try it out. Yeah, good suggestion. So here we are able to print the book object here. So let's remove this. Yeah, we are just it's not printing the book name. Oh, sorry, book title. We have the variable as title, not the name. I mean, we refresh. Yes, so we get the name of the book and the name of the author. Okay. uh, since we lost some time in between, I'm thinking of extending the session for another 15 minutes extra. I hope you guys don't have any commitment after the mentioned time. Now let's move on to the next step, and we want to now let's try to replace our this SQLite 3 data with our SQL data. So I have already set up a database over here called as local library, and some book objects are already inserted into the local library. So let's do that task. I'll just copy paste a small code. We don't waste time on that. Yes. So these are my database details. I'm going to the settings.py file. So yes, here we can set up our database. So I'm going to change the database engine from SQLite 3 to my MySQL. Name of my database, user ID, password. Here you can encrypt your user ID, password. The IP address where the SQL database is hosted. And now we will restart our server. Okay, so it is asking us to use the migrate command. Let's try to apply it. Okay, let's try to run the server. I hope it won't create much errors. Yeah, it is printing. Okay, it's working. Okay, so what I did actually in the whole this stuff, I just tried to replace my SQLite 3 database with MySQL, and I had maintained the naming conventions. So whatever model I had created in in my project. That is the same name, same model which I created in the previous database also. So since the names were same, I could easily switch from SQLite through MySQL. And now it is taking the data from my database. Okay, so now we have seen how to fetch the data from the database. And now the second task which is there in front of us, that is um, how to insert the data into the database. That's the next task. So for that we need to do three steps. First step is we need to create a form. So a form which is going to get displayed on our HTML page, and the backend for that. So we don't have to manually create the form on the HTML page. Django is going to do that for us. So we will have to create one more file here, and that file is going to be our forms.py. So I'll just let me explain the syntax to you. Here we are creating a new object called as form object. Form object contains some fields. So we are going to tell our form is going to contain what all fields: ISBN, title, author, all these fields. Out of which this field is going to get drop down menu. As I was telling you, we have to give a drop down menu to this field, but we don't have any other object or other class for that. So we are just creating a choice field over here, drop down menu. So that is created using this select. So these are all the Django syntax. Using this Django syntax, I'm creating a drop down menu for that. So it is manually created. It's static values. You can also make this dynamic by including some options. Another option is for the publish date. So I want a date picker. Basically, I wanted a date picker. So I took help of a widget in date field, which is going to give me a date picker. So these tricks I have applied over here. And now let's try to create a function for that view. So class add book is going to be the name of my class. This is create view. To be the create view for me. For which model I'm creating? My model is book. And on which template I'm going to create? I'm going to create it on add book.html. So this HTML I have not created it. I'm going to create it. And once the book is added, so once we click on the submit button or add button, where it should go. So for that, we have to give success URL. So I'm going to tell that go to the listbooks.html. So for that, to load this HTML page, we cannot load it directly because there is some for loop over there, and we have to pass through this thing. So here, what I'm going to do is reverse lazy. These all are Django functionalities. I'm going to tell list page. So now this list page is where we had given here. So this is my list view. Sorry, it's list view, not list page. And list view. Okay. And let's quickly create the HTML page. Five. And now the best part is create a form. So form method is going to be post. That's it. No need to write action, where to go. All Django will take care. Now, how to add the form? For form, we have to just write here form. That's it. Done. Now, with this one small security related task we need to add. And So this CSRF token we are going to add. So this CSRF token is a Django default, and this token basically takes care of adding one security token when we are submitting the form. So this is Django default. The CSRF is the middleware. If you don't want it, you can you can just comment out that middleware. So this is taken care by the middleware. And now let's quickly view the form. We have not created a urls.py, and here we will say add is going to be the URL pattern. The name of our class is add book as view add. Add. Oh, is there any error? Oh, okay. We have missed to tell them which form we are interested in. So we need to specify the form class, and it is book forms. No. Yes. So here we get the form. Now that crispy forms tag, which we had installed, that was going to take care of the alignments and everything. Now let's not go in that error solving. A lot of errors are there. Main goal is the process should work correctly. So here we have all the fields now. ISBN we can insert the value. Title we can insert the value. Author we can select what is the name of the author. For genre, we have got the drop down menu, and for the date, we have got a date picker. Now there is no submit button, so we need to add a submit button in our form. So input, type submit. Now let's add a book here. ISBN is, let's say, 1234. Title we can give Python programming. Author, let's assign any author from here, and let's put a date and submit. So it takes, and our book has got added into the database. So in this way, we have created a view for the user. So same way, we can create views for updating an existing model. We can create a view for deleting a model, deleting a element from our model. So all these things we can try. So that's all about the big picture of a web application development using Django. Now, moving ahead, once our project is developed, here you can see all these files are there. Okay, so you can just copy paste those files, or you can either upload these files on GitHub, or you can you can just install them in your virtual environment, and once you install them on your virtual environment, that virtual environment will automatically start behaving like your server. Okay, so now what I will do is I'll just stop this server, and let us try to deploy it on a virtual environment. So I'll just show you the steps in which we can create a virtual environment. I've noted them down in a notepad. I'll share this notepad also with you, so that some basic steps will be there with you. Now, we need to do some installations on the virtual environment. So what I have done here is I have created one file, where it is, sorry, it's my project. Yes, so this file I have created, this file is called as requirements.txt. So see, whenever you have any server or virtual environment, it is going to have Python installed, but it will not have other things like Django and all installed on it. So we can write all the requirements in the requirements.txt file, and then we will just say pip install requirements.txt, and everything will get installed automatically. You don't have to manually run the pip command. So these versions I have taken from the py.org website. So I've just assigned them here, and using the pip command, I'll just run the requirements.txt. So let's see the steps. Before going ahead, here in settings.py, I'm going to set it back to the SQLite, because the reason is for MySQL database, installing it is little tricky. Installing MySQL database on a Windows environment is little tricky, because the connector between that gives a lot of errors. So I don't want to go into that error solving stage. So I'm keeping it SQLite, because our goal is to see how to install it on virtual environment. So I'm going to keep it SQLite 3 itself. So now here I'll create one more folder, and that folder is going to be our production environment. I'll give it the name as production. Let me open it, and we are just going to let's say we are cloning this particular folder with our GitHub repository. So what we are going to do, we are going to copy paste our data from there to here. That's what we are cloning the GitHub. Just imagine it that way. Okay. So our data, entire modules or whatever development we have done has been now downloaded on our system, on our server system where we want to deploy it. Now let us start with creating the virtual environment. So PD production is the name of my folders. Now we are here in our production environment. Let's create the virtual environment. So for that, the first step.
Thanks for watching. To watch our complete session, enroll for our premium membership. Click onto the join button and enroll yourself with the best suited option.
Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Want to study further? Subscribe to our paid membership to get a deep dive into each and every topic. Do look out for more videos in our playlist and subscribe to our DevOps School channel and hit the bell icon to learn more. Keep learning.